Welcome into the Sunday morning sit down, a little special edition of the Joshua Perry Show on the Zedia Network. We have Randy Wade, father of Ohio State standout, Shaun Wade. Appreciate you joining us this morning.
Man, Joshua, appreciate you having me. I'm glad to be here, man.
Absolutely. So I wanted to kind of get your thoughts and your perspective. Obviously, you've been very outspoken with the postponement of college football. And so I figured I wanted to hear directly from the source what was going on here. So my first question to you is, how do you describe the parents' movement?
I describe it as just a reaction to not having enough transparency about what's going on with the Big Ten.
And it's really interesting, the word transparency. I feel like that's the thing that's probably popped up for most of us, people who work in sports, obviously players and parents. And then for fans, of course, it's been a point of pain. So obviously with that, your goal, it seems like, would be more transparency. Talk about that a little bit.
Basically, what a lot of parents want, talk to a lot of them. Of course, not all of them. I don't represent all the parents. I'm not a part of Ohio State Parents Association, anything like that. As a matter of fact, I'm backed up on my dues. But uh, basically, it's about us finding out how can we play football as soon as possible, as safe as possible. Meaning not playing in the fall, but to make sure we can play in the spring. Because at the end of the day, each parent has a different situation. Everybody's not Shaun Wade that has a chance to go first round. Some people, this is their last go around. They need to decide whether it's good enough for them to play in the spring and try out for the NFL. That's really, really close. So with kids not getting information from the NFL, this is vital to them to know information.
And that was going to be one of my other questions. You kind of mentioned it a little bit. Shaun is going to be fine. He's one of the top players in America right now. And so with that, why do you feel like you're the proper person to kind of be leading this thing up?
I'm not the person. I'm the proper person to be leading it up because I served 20 years in the military. I'm a vet. Been all over the country. I know leadership, and I'm not the person that want to sit in front of Kevin Warren. I want the parents of the associations and the questions get funneled through them, so they can get some kind of understanding of where we're going. I'm not good with him just saying that we're gonna have a committee of coaches and this right there, and they're gonna decide whether we can play in the spring. If you look at their statement, that's what it says. They can just say no in spring, and our kids will have to be disappointed again. You know what I'm saying? Disappointment as a parent for something your kid cannot control is something that you just want to have. I don't know if you're a parent or not, but like if you're a parent, that's one of the biggest things, man. When your son or daughter is striving for something, has a goal for something, and they can't control the outcome, and you just want to help. It happened one time, you want to help on that next time.
And I feel like that's a really big deal. I'm not a parent, but I could understand why you would feel like that because you've watched your child and all that they've invested into their goal.
Yes.
And you just want
Mm-hmm.
them to go out there and play. I also want to thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you.
So you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. You're not necessarily looking for a reversal on the decision and to play right away in the fall, are you?
No, no, no. That's what the social media is saying. I don't want to talk to everyone. It's not me. I have questions that I will funnel up through our Miss Babb, the president at Ohio State, and I want other Big Ten schools to do the same thing. Just a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We the parents of the kids that he says that he care about so much. What's so hard about that?
I mean that's I think that is a big point because you kind of have these different messages floating around. And I think that from the fan perspective, a lot of people really would like to see football being played this fall. And Commissioner Warren has made it pretty clear that there's no reversal. But it does seem like from the parents' perspective, which I wanted you to be able to make clear on here, that you're looking more so for conversation and for answers and not necessarily that reversal. And I think that's a pretty big distinction because as parents, you want to be able to have that plan moving forward, which doesn't currently exist.
Let me say one more thing.
Go ahead.
A lot of kids have a lot of power right now that they don't know about.
For
I'm
sure.
a big. I have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel. On my YouTube channel, I have Jalen Ramsey's dad. I have Michael Parsons' dad. A lot of kids don't know this, but they can leave their school right now and go to another school and just play in the fall, and just miss all this craziness. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of power. So my thing is he doesn't have to tell us, even though I feel like the way we came about the situation was crazy. If he don't want to tell us that, that's fine. But at least answer our questions to help our kids in the future.
For
What's
sure.
wrong with it? Yeah.
No, that's a really good point. I wanted to hit on this because this is kind of what sparked off my interest in having you on here. So right now I'm a Big Ten Network analyst covering football in studio. Obviously, with the cancellation of football, my job situation with that is a little bit funny. But there was the hashtag going around, and there was talk about pressuring fans to unsubscribe from BTN until we could get some answers. So I kind of wanted to get your thought process on that and then kind of have a little bit of a back and forth.
Like I understand it affects you, and I apologize about that.
No,
But the thing about it is we just try. I'm not saying subscribe. I'm subscribed to BTN forever. I'm saying the fans keep asking me, like, I'll show you my DM. Fans keep asking me, what can I do because I couldn't show up? Of course, a lot of people couldn't show up. We had like 30-something people, and that's fine. So I asked like a lot of people that I respect around the country, what could they do? And I finally got to the conclusion is to unsubscribe to BTN for right now until he at least responds to us. Because I mean, he's affiliated with it, whether he has something to do with it or not.
Right, and so from the obviously, I consider myself the heart of an activist, the mind of a politician. So from the activism standpoint, I 100% get that. But I wanted to kind of throw this out here just to describe why I feel like people can stay subscribed to BTN, but still also use their power and voice their opinions. And the first thing I'll say is right now it's unique. Big Ten Network has had a lack of live content essentially when they cut off the basketball season, because all we do is cover Big Ten college athletics. So from that perspective, it's been unique. We're broadcasting 1 day a week of live content on a typical week. And there's really not the sports. We're just, we're doing our shows and that's really it. So that's been tough. Big Ten Network also, as a media philosophy, isn't a breaking news network. We're more of like a, we'll react to the news and we'll bring on analysts who will talk about it. And so our structure is very different from a lot of the bigger networks. But to boil it down, with the lack of live sporting events and obviously with the cancellation of football, there's a financial impact that comes along with it. And that financial impact obviously is shared among employees of Big Ten Network, but also among the universities in the Big Ten. And we're fortunate in this conference to have one of the bigger revenue shares, the biggest revenue share in college sports. And so that all trickles down. That was kind of the first thing. The second thing too, and I want to make this clear. I know you understand this, but I don't think certain fans understand this. When I get my check from BTN, it comes from Big Ten Network as a Fox affiliate. It doesn't come from the Big Ten Conference. And so essentially, Kevin Warren, although he does care about Big Ten Network and we have a great working relationship with the conference, that's not necessarily in his pocket. It's in a lot of people who work for Fox and work for Big Ten Network's pocket. So kind of wanted to throw that out there. The understanding, obviously, of all the frustration. But I think that for a lot of people, we need to understand when we direct that frustration what some of the outcomes can be, whether intended or unintended.
I got you, and I know it'd be terrible if imagine if Big Ten Network wasn't here. That's all we got. All we would hear was ESPN bragging about SEC and ACC, and
Right.
it's good. It's good to have something like that. But my thing is just until he talks. Imagine this: a Zoom meeting between the presidents of the associations, the ADs, and Mr. Warren on BTN. You're talking about one of the biggest things that everybody gonna be looking at. That'd be awesome, and we can get some kind of transparency. And again, if he don't want to talk about what happened in the past, let's work on what's going on in the future. That's good enough. That's better. That's not hard. That's not
Right.
hard.
No. And so I'm fully in view with you in terms of how you feel in your, just from your perspective, the lack of transparency and the questions that you have. I couldn't imagine sitting in your shoes as a parent, even knowing that your son is going to be fine moving forward. You're invested in the other parents and the other players' interests, which I think is very special. And that speaks to, I think, the bond that exists within the locker room and just that community there. And I wish you luck moving forward in your quest for getting some of these questions answered. I wish Sean luck moving forward in his football career. I know he's going to be a fantastic pro, awesome guy. And hopefully we move forward into a winter or a spring where we get some Big Ten football.
Thank you. And I want to tell you, man, you are a model to my son. You know what I'm saying? Because when we first seen you, you don't even know this. We first seen you on the field with your girlfriend or something like that. And it's like it was a difference between you and the other athletes. There's a lot of athletes that are prior athletes, man. And just the way you carry yourself when you talk to us on our I forgot what they called it, something like a transition to the NFL when you was talking or whatever. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're gonna keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna get there, man.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.